songs were played that night, none of which I requested. None. I walk into a nightclub and songs are played. Unfortunately, if anything happens anywhere near me, it gets tied to my name. If someone got shot in that club, they would have said, Andrew Tate's in a nightclub where this man got shot. I didn't shoot him. I didn't pull the trigger. I don't know who the fuck he is. I was there and the song was played. The actual conversation I think that's interesting to have when it comes to this is the nature of the internet and the nature of influencing in general. Because I think we're living in a world now where only shock value seems to get anybody's attention for any significant period of time because everyone's dopamine receptors are completely fried. So all of these young influencers or anyone on the internet who's trying to make any name for themselves is trying to be as controversial and shocking as possible as quickly as possible. And that's why the song was played, because it gets views. That's why. I didn't play it. I didn't ask them to play it. I didn't dance. I didn't sing. In fact, the only time you see me on there is me storming out of the bus saying this is ridiculous and leaving. But I know why it was played. It was played because of this. It was played because it gets traction in a world where everybody is bored of everything all of the time. And that's why these young people are encouraged constantly to try and do the most shocking thing possible. You see this not just with this song, you see this on all their streams. They're running people over and doing retarded shit constantly. So I'm not here to make excuses for myself. I'm not here to say it wasn't me. I'm not here to, blame someone else. But it is kind of ridiculous. It does feel a bit unfair that I'm standing in a nightclub. A song comes on that I did not request. A song comes on that I do not dance to. I do not repeat the lyrics to. I just stand there. And then they want to attribute somehow the song playing to me and it all being my fault.
That's a fair argument, but I'll to the average person that's watching it, back in the days when I'm younger, I'm in a car with a guy who I get out of the military. It's December 23rd, 97. The guy's got a bunch of pot in the back of his trunk. Cops come out.
Yep.
And I'm in the Army, and my guy's calling me, telling me, hey, you got to figure something out. You can't be involved in something like this.
Yep.
So guilty by association, it's the first thing they're going to say. You hung out with these guys. When I watched the video, Andrew, with you and them, Tristan looks extremely uncomfortable,
Yep.
okay? And the way you were smiling, because I saw a lot of, everyone's texting me. You and I communicate, we have conversations together. You looked extremely uncomfortable as well. You're smiling, but you're not, you know already what's going to happen. It was almost a look where I said, Tate knows what's about to happen next.
Yeah, the shock value really isn't worth it to me. I mean, I've said some shocking things, and people will believe my brand is built on shock value, but I think they're at least shocking opinions. I like to think that I'm sitting there saying, this is my opinion, you may find it shocking, but this is what I truly believe. These are my worldviews, and perhaps there's a lot of people who agree with me, disagree with me, but to just shock and offend purely for the purpose of shocking and offending, I think that that's something that has plagued the internet for a while, but it's getting worse and worse. And you notice it across the entire streaming world because people are struggling to get any kind of views or shake people out of apathy. And when I talk to anybody below 25 who's doing anything on the internet, their only intention is to be as shocking and therefore as offensive as possible. That's what they're sitting there thinking. How do I get everybody to panic within 3 seconds? Otherwise, they're going to scroll past me. Mm-hmm. And that's what people are doing. That's the world we live in.
Why hang out with them?
Well, I haven't seen them in a long time. It's the first time I met two of them. It's the first time I met Clav and Nick. I spoke to them online, but it's the first time I ever met them. I hadn't seen Sneeko in a while.
You and Nick have never met each other?
Never met.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
Never met.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and the Braden guy, Clav, whatever his name is, he's new.
First time I ever met them.
Yeah.
And I have to be honest, they were nice guys when I met them. It's the first time I've spoken to them. I sat down with them, and I don't think they even put the song on. I have to guess. I think Sneeko may have put the song on, who I'd met many times before. But it was a long night. It was 6 or 7 hours in which, for 2 minutes of it, someone got a phone and put a song on. It wasn't me. And now it's all over the news. So I just think that the main reason this is being done is because shock value is what people are optimizing for with their content primarily. And then we can have another conversation entirely about why anti-Semitism is on the rise in the first place, because I have a theory about that also. And I think that the main reason anti-Semitism is on the rise across America, because there's no doubt about it that it is because young men are being told that Jews control the system, and young men are being screwed by the system. It doesn't mean it's true. I'm not going to sit here and say that Jews completely and utterly control the system. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, if you tell young men that, and they believe that, even if it's not true, and they're getting screwed by the system, that's why people are anti-Semitic. There was no anti-Semitism when a man could afford a house, and there was no anti-Semitism when a man could get a wife. And there's no anti-Semitism when he looked around and felt part of his community. But people are so disenfranchised now with the places they're living in and the society they're forced to live within, and they feel so disconnected from everything, they've become revolutionary. Young men of the world are revolutionary. They're looking for somebody to blame. They're told it's the Jews, so that's why they're being anti-Semitic. That's the truth about what is happening.
And it's funny though, Andrew, like